Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I have something different. I've been trying for a long time to get a garden going on, basically to feed myself, and today I'm just going to do that. I'm going to see if I can possibly feed myself three-course meal with something coming only from the garden, okay? So let's start off with the first thing is here in the freezer. These are the fava beans that I've collected over the past few months. I've been growing fava beans. I got a decent harvest. These are fresh fava beans that I've frozen, so I have split them into fresh fava beans and dried fava beans. For this dish, we're going to be using the frozen fresh fava beans. 2 handfuls should be enough. I'm just going to make a meal for myself. And yeah, I'm going to collect a bowl and head outside to the garden to get the rest of the ingredients that are going to come directly from the dirt, except from potatoes and sweet potatoes that I've stored. The weather is a little bit like this, kind of rainy. I'm not complaining though, because we do need the rain in the summer. This was shot a few months ago, like 1 month ago maybe, but yeah. We got the sweet potatoes here. This is also where I'm storing my, they call them here white potatoes, so the regular unsweetened potato varieties. 3 small potatoes, sweet potatoes. These are from last year's harvest. I'm just going to need to make the dessert. Here we're going to go to the carrot patch. Get a few carrots for the soup. Not too shabby. This is my pathetic garlic patch. My miserable fucking bed of garlic. Look at the size of that bulb. I'm not sure if it counts as gardening if you're, you know, just getting cloves of garlic, splitting them, planting them, and then you put them on the ground and basically you still have the equivalent size 1 clove of garlic a few months later. I don't know what's up with this soil. It's the 2nd year in a row that I'm trying to grow garlic and it's been very unsuccessful. Not sure about that. Anyway, we're moving on. This is where I've got my corn growing, as you can see. Down here to the onions. I don't have a lot of them, but they're growing nicely. Real nicely. Just going to pick one of them. Good sized bulb. On the left side here is where I've pulled the the potatoes from the dirt. This is something that just grows wild, the fennel. I rarely use it. I'm not a big fennel guy, but I think I've got an idea for the dessert that the fennel could come in handy for. Climbing up the hill here, and I spot some goose food, which is very delicious, that I'm going to use for my greens. Also grows just wild. So that's one. There's another one growing just nearby. And there's a few more growing just around the corner. That's how my corn is doing. And we come up here to the flat garden. These are my collard greens, which is they're not doing great. I have already cut them since I've removed them. But yeah, just try to get a little bit of the young growth that's still quite tender and tasty. But these guys are done. They've been here for 2 years, and yep, they're all gnarly and stuff. The leaves grow in very strange directions and patterns, so they're done. But still use them one last time. This is the self-seeded chard. This is young growth as well. Oh yeah, we got some not coriander, cilantro. Also wild. Here next to my tomatoes. That's the chard that I was saying that was self-seeded. Just get a few leaves off that, and yeah. Chard is great. I mean, it just grows on the same spot. It provides beautiful covering for the ground. You know, the ground is also always nice and moist around chard. But that's basically the ingredients that I have that I'm going to use. Except that I think I forgot the pumpkin. Yeah, here we are. Just grab one of those. Okay, so back from the garden, these are the ingredients that I've collected. We've got potato, carrots, and pumpkin, which are going to be used for the soup. Of course, I'll be using aromatics with that as well for increased flavor. The main dish is going to consist of fava beans with potatoes, also with aromatics added, obviously. I'm also going to use the greens to make a little side of greens. These greens are goosefoot that I've foraged alongside collard greens and the self-seeded chard. I have some aromatics on the top left here. They're onion greens, cilantro, and also fennel that I will be using for the dessert, alongside the sweet potatoes for the third and final course of this three-course meal. There's of course salt as well that I've provided from my kitchen. I could have gotten salt water from the ocean. It's close by, but it's fine. It's salt. It's the only thing that I'm using that's technically not from the garden. But these are all the ingredients assembled, and now I will process them. This is going to be the soup mix. We've got pumpkin, carrots, and potatoes in here. Obviously going to add some onion and maybe some toppings to the soup. We've got our greens to go with the fava beans and potatoes. And we've got dessert here as well. So that is the table. I'm going to add a little bit of onion. I'm going to try to fry this without oil, which is going to be interesting. I'm going to reserve the rest of the onion for the soup. Okay, with the greens it's going to be very simple. All I'm going to do is stuff them in this tiny little pot. Like that. Gonna add a little bit of garlic, a little bit of salt, and water. Don't need to be too much water, but we can start getting that boiling. And I'm going to put a cover on it. Okay, for the soup, what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing as adding the rest of the onion, trying to fry it a little bit. Just gonna running out of space here on the stove. But we do what we can. We will can. Yeah, very good. So to the pot of soup, I'm just going to add a little water. The same here. I'm just going to put a little water here. And we're going to start cranking it up. Unfortunately, by cranking it up, the strong magnetic fields generated by the stove interfered with the mic, making the audio for this section basically useless. But basically what I'm doing at this point is just boiling the greens, and at the same time I'm trying to, without any oil, trying to create a little bit of color on the pan so as to get some flavor going on. So that's basically what I'm looking for, creating a little bit of color when the onion starts to stick to the pan, and then deglaze it with water. Try to make that color kind of, get mixed up with the broth, and concentrate the flavor of the onion at that point. As you can see, that's the kind of color that I'm trying to go for, kind of brownish orange. If it gets too dark, it means it's burning. It means it's going to get foul tastes, burnt flavors, all those sorts of things you don't want. But this is basically the process. It's kind of tedious without using oil. You just gotta very slowly build up the layers of flavor by letting it dry, then deglazing it with water, letting the water dry again, making the onion stick, deglazing it one more time, and basically just repeating this cycle until the onions start to get caramelized. It's possible to do without oil. It's kind of not great, but it gets some extra flavor. At this point, I think the onions are good enough. I add some garlic and water to start cooking the potatoes and the fava beans, which are going to be cooking in this same water. This at the same time it's going on with the soup as well. I'm also giving color to the onions in the soup. I'm not showing because this pan is easier to show. But yeah, just basically put everything in there, give it a good stir, then leave it alone to cook. Okay, so now I'm adding the ingredients, the rest of the ingredients to the soup. There's a little bit of color on those onions as well. And this is the carrot, potato, and pumpkin that I'm going to be adding to the soup. With that, I also add some water, basically fill it to the level of the ingredients, and going to let it boil from there. Alright, so this is the soup. I've blended it into a nice thick cream. I also need to blend the sweet potatoes for the dessert. That's coming up next. Over here we've got the potatoes with fava beans, also boiled in that water. I let the whole water evaporate to concentrate the flavors and the greens that are going to go with it. With that, let's go to the sweet potatoes. Oh yeah, that's good. That is great. So I'm just gonna mash this and yeah. I'll add the dill, or not dill, the fennel, because it's got a little bit of sweetness to it. And I'm just gonna mash this up together. So those sweet potatoes, they were microwaved, by the way. That's how I got them to that consistency. This is the soup now, bowled up. I'm just doing the toppings. These are pumpkin seeds that I got from the pumpkin that I also peeled and prepared to make the soup with. And I'm just adding some cilantro on top, a little bit of onion greens as well. Trying to make it gourmet looking and nice. Alright guys, so this is the end. I've tasted this meal. It tastes amazing. It looks great as well. It is missing the olive oil. I'm a big sucker for olive oil, particularly in the soup and in the main dish. But look at all that. It's looking great. The thing that I had the most concern with, which is the pudding, ended up being just great on its own. I thought it was be either too bland or, the texture is not right, but ended up being great. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks.